Hello, everyone. Where am I looking? There I am. I'm always bad at this, um, but I'm trying to get better, so bear with me here. My name's Dharma Kelleher, and I am a five-figure author, and I also happen to be queer. I'm transgender. I am also a lesbian. Actually, technically pansexual, but very lesbian leaning. I've been married to my wife for almost 26 years now. And I wanted to create a YouTube channel focused on my ongoing journey as a queer author. So that's writing while queer. And I was like, I always struggle with new projects like this because I'm like, okay, I should give a background and overview and all this stuff. And I'm just going to start off by saying what's going on currently. So I've published, I just published my 13th crime thriller. I think it's 13. I lose track after a while. It's like, okay, there are 5 books in this series, and 4 books in that series, and 3 books in this series, and there's this other prequel novel in one of the series. So I'm like, I think that's 13. But as of this year, I've been writing for about 8 years, and starting this year, 2024, I became a five-figure author, which means I've made over $15,000 this year, which is huge, and I'm so happy about that. And I recently had the retail launch for A Plague of Grackles. I should have brought the book with me, but I didn't. I'm here in my garden, my little courtyard, and I've taken a break from writing the thrillers. All the books I've written so far have been thrillers, crime thrillers. And one of the things I'm working on is I'm working on the audiobooks. I'm a bit of a Renaissance author. If you're wondering what that thing is behind my head, it's a plate that my brother-in-law created. It's like, so if you're like, what is that thing behind her head? Sorry, I get distracted. Squirrel, ADHD. What was it? So I'm working on the audiobook. I'm actually recording the audiobook, narrating it myself. I've got the technical skills. My original degree way back in the Stone Age was in journalism, but with an emphasis on audio production. And so I've got the technical skills, and I think I've got the acting chops. And I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I had a little bit of a setback recently because I had knee surgery. That was about 3.5 weeks ago, and until like the past day or so, it's just been I've been dealing with a lot of post-operative pain, swelling, scar tissue, just all that yucky stuff. And so, and when I record while standing because it gives me more lung space, more lung capacity, so that I can deliver a better performance. And so I've tried recording, and I recorded quite a few chapters even while I was in recovery, and I think it was just making my knee pain worse. So sorry. I'm doing a handheld for this first one because I'm just trying to figure things out here. So bear with me here. If I have to adjust it, my arm's getting tired. So I'm recording the so I think I'm gonna start recording. I've got like 18 chapters to go out of 49, and I think it's gonna be good. There are a lot of people that say, oh, authors shouldn't narrate their own audiobooks, and they're especially because they're fiction, and I'm always the one to say, don't tell me what I can't do, because I'll figure out a way to do it. They said the same thing about designing your own covers. I also design my own covers, so and I've got the background for that. I used to be a web developer and web designer. I understand graphic design. I'm not much of a drawer or painter. My mother had all those skills. She was before she retired. She was a graphic designer, freelance graphic designer from way back, and I learned a lot from her. In fact, the first program I learned on was Aldus PageMaker, which eventually became Adobe InDesign, I think, through multiple iterations. But so I've grown up learning how to do that, and I love doing it. I love designing my own covers. I don't know what the neighbor's doing. It sounds like trees falling down. Squirrel. And so, anyway, yeah, so I love doing all these things. That's one of the things I love about being an indie author is I get to have all of this creative control, and I love that. Because I just have these visions of what I want to do with these things, and so I'm working on that. I want to finish up production, recording on, it's for Iron Goddess, which is the first book in the Shae Stevens Outlaw Biker series. So think Sons of Anarchy, but with lesbians. Because I used to be, I was a biker for many years. And I was a member of a all women's biker group. And half of us were lesbians. And I loved Sons of Anarchy, but it's all from the guy's point of view. I mean, all the women, it had women in it too, but they're always the old ladies, no female bikers. I'm like, you're missing half the story. And it's still a good series, but missing half the story. So I figured I'm going to tell this exciting story from a woman's point of view, from a lesbian point of view. So anyway, so I'm once I get the recording finished, then I just got to do all the editing, and there's a lot to the editing. I do multiple passes. First, I'm cutting out all the I want to say typos, but that's not the right word. The flubs, basically. I screw up a word, or if I don't if I don't deliver the performance or something in a sentence, I'm like, I can do that better. And so all the retakes and everything like that. So that's the first pass. And then I go back through and I'm removing all of the mouth clicks, because you'd be amazed at all the little sounds that the microphone picks up from your lip smacks and things like that. It's weird. And of course, then all the breaths. And so after I clean that all up, then I go back through and I edit it for timing, because there's a lot of extra pauses and everything. You're watching a really bad movie when in the dialogue there's just too much space between lines, and it feels unnatural, and you may not even be able to pinpoint why it feels wrong, but there's too much space. It's not like this ba 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 ba. And so I go back through and I edit it for timing, and then I have to do the EQ, the equalization, and the normalization, and ECX, which is where you submit audiobooks for Audible, Amazon. They have very strict requirements as far as sound levels. The average sound level has to be at a certain point, and the max has to be at a certain point, and the minimum sound, the sound floor, has to be below a certain point. And it's a challenge to get it to meet those requirements. So fortunately, like I said, I've got the chops to do it. And what I didn't learn way back when, I've learned through YouTube videos, because that's me. I'm like number one input, high learner. That's just kind of, I love to learn, and so I love learning how to do things myself. So that's where I am with that. And then once I get all the editing and mastering done, then I'll submit it. I'm kind of on the fence. Do I want to submit it to Audible? I don't know, because Amazon takes the lion's share of the revenue. I mean, they say that if you're non-exclusive to them, they'll pay you 25% of the cover price. And there have been lawsuits proving that no, they give you even a less than that. So I'm like, you're practically giving the thing away for just a pittance. And likewise, Findaway Voices, which now is owned by Spotify, do I want to do that? Because again, they'll probably be paying a pittance. On the other hand, there are people that only buy audiobooks through those outlets. And do I want to cut my nose off to spite my face? I don't know. That's the thing. As an author, as an indie author, I'm a business owner, and I have to make tough business decisions. And it's like, how do I want to do that? I don't know. I want to put it in as many people's hands as possible, but I also want to get paid for my work. So, what do you do? And of course, I'll have it up on my website for people to buy directly. So, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I think I've rambled along. I've rambled on for over 10 minutes. So, you've got things to do. You've got a life, and I keep forgetting to look at the lens here. Sorry. I'm like staring off into space there. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day and take care and happy reading. So, bye-bye.